elements that are not part of the CDA schema. And we can also reference external objects like images inside XML entries here. The image is wrapped in a tag observation media. The threat to confidentiality of information is caused by this threat, which is caused by misuse of privileges by authorized users, is known as insider threat. And the level of misuse is classified as these three categories. The first category is carelessness or unintentional misuse. This occurs when user forget to log off properly or by mistake open the records of some other patient. This threat becomes more profound if you consider the scenario where sensitive data of patients is available to all users in a healthcare facility. The second one is curiosity. It is assumed that users in a healthcare setting, it is assumed that the user will access health records of patients under their care only. The audit mechanisms are usually in place to record any such access, but still users, due to curiosity, might snoop in medical records of ex-relations, celebrities, or colleagues. And the third is malintentions. The authorized users might access personal information of any patient to harm or embarrass him, or just for profit to sell this information. Also, there is a possibility that this information may be used by employer to deny employment or to deny benefits to a patient whose privacy has been compromised. So, if the patient cannot trust the healthcare provider, then they may resort to extreme circumstances like giving inaccurate information, paying out of pocket, changing doctors, or avoiding treatment at all, just to protect their information. Context is any information that can be used to characterize the situation of an entity. An entity is a person, place, object that is considered relevant to the interaction between a user and an application. A system, process, or model that is context aware if it takes decisions according to the context parameters. The well-known context parameters are identity, time, location, activity. Now I'll explain the related work and the different access control mechanisms, including policy machine. First is role-based access control. RBAC has emerged as a standard for specifying permissions for a large group of users. It allows defining roles similar to the functional responsibilities of users in an organization setup, and then permissions are given to the roles. RBAC policy consists of users, the roles the users can assume, objects, operations, and permissions available to each role. A user can activate roles assigned to him in a session. If a user activates any role, then he gets all the permissions associated with that role. Discretionary access control, DAC, is an access control mechanism that allows users to own objects or files, and they can give permissions to other users for objects under their control. A strict DAC policy requires that the owner is the only one who can grant access to an object, and ownership cannot be transferred. Whereas a liberal DAC policy assumes that the ownership can be transferred to other users based on a single level grant or a multi-level grant. The single level grant means that he can just the ownership can go only one step ahead. Generalized temporal RBAC defines temporal constraints for RBAC using periodicity and duration constraints. The temporal constraint can be defined for operations of role enabling, role assignment, and permission assignment. XML-based generalized temporal RBAC, which is XGT RBAC, it proposes XML-based policy specification language for GT RBAC. Here, XML schema is used to define user to role, role permission assignment, and separation of duty and temporal constraints. The policy is defined in XML sheets, which are processed by XML parser, and then the policy information is enforced by the GT RBAC processor. Most of the scheme proposed for healthcare in recent literature like XGT RBAC, XFederate, and others, extend RBAC to formulate privacy and security policies. But protection of private information using RBAC alone is not enough, as sensitive information should be available to the primary doctor only, whereas an RBAC, if a role is available to a doctor role is available to a user, then he can access information of all the patients, including sensitive information. Hippocratic databases have been developed for protection of personal information. The basic theme is that data collection and disclosure should be associated with purpose specification and user consent. These databases are designed to enforce better disclosure policies so that patient preference is taken into account. They also have an audit mechanisms to find security breaches, but in case of insider threat, the goal should be to protect the information in first place instead of finding the culprit after the damage has been done. XSCML is a policy specification language which allows access control policy formulation in XML. XSCML profile of core and hierarchical RBAC have been developed, but it still lacks separation of duty constraints of RBAC. Also, temporal constraints like access during 9 to 5 a.m. or for a duration of 5 hours can be expressed in XSCML, but it is not as expressive as like the temporal constraints in GDRBAC, which allows to specify periodicity constraints and also constraints like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for Monday to Friday only. The principle of least privilege is one of the basic principles of information security, and it requires that a user be given no more privilege than necessary to perform a job. To apply the principle of least privilege, the system needs to identify, the first job is to identify the job of the user, then determine the minimum permission set to perform that job, and to restrict the user with those permissions only. Now I'll explain Policy Machine. Policy Machine has been developed by NASA Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, and it provides the ability to configure and enforce arbitrary attribute-based policies. It can enforce policies like RBAC, DAC, mandatory access control MAC, and also combination of multiple policies. It helps to protect objects under one or more policies while enforcing these policies through a series of PM functions that are executed in response to user access requests. The basic elements in Policy Machine are users, which are users of the system, operations like read, write, delete, and create, objects objects may refer to files, processes, or system resources, user attributes, policy-specific attributes of users like a doctor in case of RBAC or secret in case of MLS, and object attributes, which are policy-specific attributes of objects. Then there is a reference mediation function which evaluates the user request and grants the permission only if it is part of the permission set. And then there are subject attribute constraints. This is a list of disjoint user attribute set. If a user has been assigned a user attribute from one user attribute set like doctor and intern, then he cannot be assigned the user attribute from the other set, which is consultant in this example. Now I'll explain how permissions are mapped to users in Policy Machine. These are the assignment relations for like user to user attribute assignment. Means that user U has the after the assignment user U has the attributes. User U belongs to the users of user attribute UA. And when this assignment has been done, then user has the capabilities of the user attribute. The set of capabilities operation O for a user attribute is derived from assignments between operation sets and object attributes is denoted by capabilities of the user attribute. We get the capabilities by assignment between user attributes and operation sets, and we get the access control entries for an object by assignments between operation sets and object attributes. These two concepts like capabilities and access control entries will be cleared when I show you the next slide, which in context of our access control matrix. Just to clarify the capabilities and access control entries, here like doctor, intern, and consultant are the user attributes, and O1, O2, O3 are the object attributes. The capabilities of doctor are that he can write O1 and write O2, while the access control entries for an object O1 will be that the doctor can read, write O1, and the doctor can, intern can read object O1. So this is how with the assignments of, we can generate capabilities and access control entries by assignments of user attributes and operation sets.